Today I'm going to draw in reverse values. I've got this cast of a face and I'm going to use it to practice. I'm going to draw the highlights and the bright areas, and I'm going to leave the shadows dark. I'm working with white chalk on black paper. The first thing I'm going to do is kind of put where I want the top of the head to be and where I want the bottom of the head to be. Then I begin to sort of map out the features. Proportions are pretty much the same on any face, close anyway. And so I'm creating a little map, and then I begin working on the highlights, starting with some of the brighter areas first and working my way down to the darker areas. I start with the brightest areas, but I do not make them as bright as I can possibly make them. I'm going to continue to build up as I need to, but I'm starting lightly because it's easier to erase if you don't grind the chalk into the black paper. I believe that when we draw in reverse, it creates neural pathways in our brain that are just different from what we're used to doing. It's kind of exercising the brain in a way that makes us smarter, makes us better at problem solving. So I think that when you draw, in general, you actually open up new neural pathways because you're problem solving and you are thinking and working out the solution to whatever is in front of you. You know, I'm trying to draw this and I got to figure out how to do it. So think of this as brain exercise. So I'm using white chalk on black paper, and because I'm actually drawing in reverse, I've got to think about it differently, which I think creates new neural pathways. Different than when I draw black on white surfaces like normal. So again, I'm putting some chalk down, and then I am smearing it in or smearing it out, or using it to cover the areas I need to cover. And I'm doing it just a little bit at a time. I don't want to get too dark. Like I said, it's kind of hard to erase. And it's a constant push and pull. Like I may put some chalk down that doesn't actually go there. It may go close to that area, but not exactly in, beyond that line, whatever that line may be. And so I look back at the object that I'm drawing, and if I see that the highlight goes too far into the shadow, or that the shadow is a different shape, then I come back and I erase it out. I like to zoom in on this because I just love the way the chalk looks when it hits the paper, and when you pull the chalk across the paper. It's just a beautiful sight, and it feels good to feel that chalk rub against the paper. So I kind of like to get some good close-ups sometimes of that. You'll notice that there's the spot on the top of her nose right there is probably the brightest. Her forehead is pretty bright. A little bit of her top lip is pretty bright, and I just continue to make these things brighter and brighter. Now on the cast, the pupils and the iris have been carved out, so they are darker. This is a trick that sculptors use in order to create the appearance of darker irises and darker pupils. They actually carve it out so there's less light hitting there. So I made those a little bit darker. I put some white there, but I kind of left it dark, not too much white. I want it to look like irises. And then the white of the eyes are not solid white, but I put a little bit of white there and try to make it a little bit whiter than the irises. The reflection, or the reflected light, is actually what drew me to this. I don't know if I said that already. The reflected light in the bottom of this thing on the chin and underneath the eyes and the nose were so eye-catching that I was like, oh, I got to draw this. And so I did. And since this, I've actually added more to it. So I didn't finish it here, but then I did more, and this is what the final result looks like. So it's your turn. Go make some art.
Give Daddy a thumb up, and please subscribe, and leave a comment down below.